We're rolling. Yay. Go us.
Ew.
I'm so excited to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like in the times we've worked together, you've just been like doing your thing, and I haven't necessarily been able to like pick your brain. And now I get to actually sit here and pick your brain.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be sitting with you.
Oh, good. So I met you through just Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had seen what you were up to, what you were doing, and like had been following you and was like, I just think her style is so cool and effortless. And I wanted more of that in my like lifestyle and my aesthetic, because I mean, as you can see, I styled myself today. I'm like, I have
You look great,
style.
yes.
Like I have style, but sometimes I can go a little crazy. And like, especially for me, sometimes skew a little bit younger than I actually want to. And so for me, I was like, I just really want someone who can help me refine it. So I found you online and you came over and you've built amazing looks for me. And I haven't really shared that so much, but we will like moving forward. I guess let's just start at the beginning, because I want to know first, like just about your love for fashion, when you remembered that starting and just like how that's evolved for you.
Yes. Okay. My whole life.
Yeah.
I've been obsessed with fashion, with clothes, with shopping, with like everything, like crazed by it. Yeah, just truly obsessed. Like ever since I was little, like would dress in costumes or like would see, like I was obsessed with older girls. So like would see an older girl wearing something and like try to figure out how I could do that. You know, like it was just always, that was just always my
like
passion.
Your vibe.
Yeah, my vibe. I've told this story before, but one of my mom's friends was like, I don't want my daughter hanging out with Allison because like she's like too obsessed with fashion and she dresses too crazy. Like I'm scared she's gonna like rub off on her, because I was really doing some
like
stuff.
testing the boundaries.
I was up to some stuff back then. Like I was really, I was going crazy and loved it my whole life. And when I went to college, I went to University of Michigan for a year and a half. And when I was there, I was like, wait, I kind of know what I want to do, and it's fashion, and like that's not really happening here necessarily. Yeah. So what am I doing here? And so I called my mom and I was like, I think I need to move to New York. Yeah. She was like, I think you do too. I'm not sure even why you went to Michigan. I was like, well, why didn't you say something before?
That feedback would have been valuable when I was deciding.
She was like, I always wondered why you didn't just like go to FIT or apply there. I was like, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't confident enough, or maybe I didn't really understand that was possible.
Right.
Like, I don't think I grew up in Michigan. I don't think I knew like what jobs were even available.
Completely. And I feel like also in our generation, it was very much just like you go to high school and then you go to college and like that's what you do.
And you like don't really stop. Like it was really funny when I was like, wait, I have to go to the school for 3 more years. It's not like I hated it, but I was like, wait, why?
Right. Like what a waste of time. Yeah. Say hello to your IRL makeup filter in a bottle. CoverGirl's Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. This skincare makeup hybrid looks and feels so unique. So it's developed using micro droplet technology. The pigmented capsules burst and blend to easily distribute a sheer, even tint. And with a plant-based retinol alternative, it works to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. So I put this on the other night before a little dinner out and was so happy with how light and even the coverage was, and just the way that my skin looked like my skin, just fresher. It's the perfect base for the fresh face, no makeup look that I always go for, and a really great lighter weight alternative to foundation. CoverGirl's Simply Ageless Skin Perfector is clean, vegan, cruelty-free, and contains 71% water that provides an instant burst of moisture upon application and hydrates your skin for up to 24 hours. After trying to use it consistently for the last couple weeks, I can honestly say that my complexion looks so much more plump, my wrinkles are fading just a tad, and I just feel like more refreshed. It's made in 8 adaptable shades to complement all skin tones, and it can be worn alone or as a nice primer under your favorite foundation. Also, how cool that you can walk into a drugstore and get a product of this quality. You won't find this unique formula from any other drugstore brand. Glowing, radiant skin is only a pump away, only from easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
And so, yeah, so like the things that I knew about fashion were from TV and magazines and watching The Hills.
That's so crazy.
And it's funny because I moved to New York in 2008 and I applied for an internship that was like, it was just a posting for like a Condé Nast magazine. It didn't say what it was and it was Teen Vogue.
No way.
So yeah, I interned at Teen Vogue and so we have that in common.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I did it for longer than was like kind of necessary. I think I did it for, most people do like a semester. I think I did it for like a year and a half while I was at FIT. And that's where I really learned like all of the pieces that go into a photo shoot, a magazine, just like the PR, you know, calling in the looks. Like I had of course, like it's like kind of obvious, but I just never again sat to think about it.
Totally.
Like,
I mean, and it's not obvious back then. Like there was no social media. The jobs that we have now, like even a stylist, it wasn't necessarily like out there, out and about. You know what I mean? Like there were celebrity stylists, but it wasn't like that field was something that you knew of what really went into it. Like I feel like nobody really ever wanted you to know that they even had a stylist, you know, like people, or even for a photo shoot. It's like they just wanted the magic. They didn't want to know all the behind the scenes stuff.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, how did I not realize that like there was somebody picking out the clothes? But I guess it like wasn't really advertised.
It wasn't a thing. Yeah. Like when I remember when we were watching the Oscars when we were younger, I wasn't like, oh my God, Elizabeth Stewart like did such a good job with Julia Roberts tonight or whoever her stylist is. You know what I mean? It was you looked at the celebrity and you're like, oh my God, they look amazing.
And like they have
don't even know what looks exactly what goes into it. Yeah.
So when I was at Teen Vogue and I went on set, I was like, oh my God, like there's somebody here that just gets like put the outfits together. Like this is incredible. So that was sort of, you know, the spark that started it. And then, you know, when I was in school, I would make my classes like 2 days a week and I would intern and assist for stylists like every single day. So had a lot of experience there. And then when I graduated, I started working for a stylist full time. And we did a lot of like celebrity styling and editorial and like bigger campaigns, which was really cool. But it was a lot of traveling and a lot of, you know, like, I don't want to sound like bitchy, but it was just like a lot of like really not even pretentious, but I didn't feel so comfortable in that world. And I felt like, I don't know. I just like really never felt relaxed
like
or
the goals weren't aligned. You weren't. Yeah. I mean, I can feel that because I know now for you, it's so about like bringing people's personal style out and making them feel comfortable in their own skin. And I feel like that's not necessarily always the world of celebrity styling.
No,
it's like, what designers are we wearing? What's like the endorsement deal we want to get? Like what's the business behind it?
100%.
It's not like, yeah.
And it felt like, you know, well, I mean, also I was an assistant for like 5 years. So it was like, I'm just like on the computer calling things in. And I was like, this is, I was like, this carrying big garment bags up and down stairs. You know, I was like, this is not necessarily what I had in mind. So then I started doing more personal styling. So working with just, I never know what to say, like regular people, normal, like non-celebrity people,
non-celebs,
and dressing them and really focusing on their everyday life. And again, like kind of a bit aligned with that. I don't want it to look like there's a stylist kind of vibe where it's like, it's not really about me. It's about you. It's about listening. It's about figuring out like what somebody feels comfortable in and like helping them kind of express that. Not necessarily through buying a bunch of stuff, but through, you know, shopping in your closet and also just like understanding your closet. Like all the decisions that we make are kind of like there in our closet. And it's like, well, let's understand, like sometimes we make a bad decision, but like why? What are we trying to do here? Sometimes we make a great decision. Like what's so good about this piece? Why do we want to wear it all the time? So just kind of like helping people understand more of the why.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So a couple questions. Just first of all, did your mom, when you were growing up, like ever put limitations on how you dressed, or she really let you do whatever you wanted?
She really let me do what I wanted. And I think, you know, if I hopefully become a mom, like that's going to be really hard for me because she was so like, my mom looks great. She's gorgeous, but she's kind of like more of a like she doesn't care that much. So like she just let me do whatever I wanted. Yeah. And so I went crazy. But I think that also by being a bit like maximalist and like really trying a lot of things, I was able to find my style because nothing felt off limits. I was really able to explore and
Yeah, that's what I try to do with Sunny. I mean, Sunny's like not into it like I want him to be. I have to wait for hopefully my girl for that. Yes. But like I have always felt like when it comes to his own image, like how he wants to cut his hair or what he wants to wear each day, like let them have that autonomy because it gives them, I think it gives them like the independence, it gives them the confidence, it gives them like the creative, like endless amounts of creativity. And I feel like once you start stifling that, like how they look, I think you don't even realize how big of a deal that can be.
You're so right.
Yeah.
And even just doing like my styling sessions, I've noticed a pattern, and it's not like 100%, but women whose moms are really into fashion and like would take them shopping and like had a big interest and like have amazing clothes, like they're normally not into fashion because like their mom either pushed it on them or they're like, it's not cool. Like this isn't cool or expressive because like it's my mom's thing.
It's right.
You know?
It's like they're going back to their trauma of when they were younger, of like their mom telling them how to look and what to wear.
Exactly.
So it's like getting dressed is more of a traumatic experience than like a form of self-expression, which is what it should be. But the other thing I was going to say was like, yes, also the assisting aspect, while not necessarily glamorous and not what you wanted to do long term, did you feel like it was necessary though
100%.
to get to where you are? Yeah.
100%. And I assisted, I feel like longer than like the average person needed to because I think I was kind of timid, like similar to like not moving to New York right away. It's like I always take like a little time to warm up. Yeah. So like I was an assistant like traveling like all the time for like about 5.5 years, which is like, that's kind of dramatic. Like you don't need, like some people I think that they can do it for like 5 minutes and be done, but 5 years is a lot.
Is a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So,
but I totally get that.
Yeah, but it was fun and like, I felt like there was always so much to learn. And, you know, I mean, you know, from like being on sets, it's like sometimes it's really fun. Sometimes it's like true hell.
Completely. Yeah. And I've always said even now, like, I wish that I could go back. I wish that I could now just like assist a stylist for like a day. You know what I mean? I don't want to do it for like.
No, I don't want to do the returns.
No, I don't want to deal with all that. But I want to just, it's so interesting for me to see stylists work because like I said, I have style, but when it comes to actually pulling something together, I never feel it's like complete. Whenever I have like a stylist working with me, I feel, and I don't know whether it's just because I need that little stamp of approval, but like I just always feel cuter when a stylist is styling me for some reason.
I also wonder if it's like just seeing your, like having that extra set of eyes, like probably approval, but also just having somebody like see things in a new way.
Yes.
Is sometimes helpful.
Totally.
I find that like people like you who have amazing style, it's really helpful to have another set of eyes because like you already have such a defined sense of style. So like just having somebody else whose instincts might be a little bit different, like really changes the game.
Yeah. Like double check my work, which we all need, like a little bit of double checking and editing.
Did you have a stylist when you were on TV?
So when I was first on the Hills, I didn't have a stylist. Okay. I was just dressing myself for everything. And then when I moved to the city and was getting paid a little more, they wouldn't pay for a stylist, but I ended up hiring a stylist. I met the stylist. I was shooting for 17 magazine. Her name was Laura Backmender. She actually lives here now. And she was doing the shoot and we just really hit it off. And I was like, will you be my personal stylist for the show? And we would do it where she would just do these like big pulls and then we would make like 20 looks at a time. And then I would have the looks for the show and for like events and stuff. But I needed it for the city. Like it felt, I was having to wear sometimes 3 different outfits a day for all the different scenes. And I was just like, I need some help with this. And I knew for me, like the show wasn't going to last forever and fashion was what I wanted to fall back on. And I just felt like having a stylist was an investment into my business in fashion, you know? So
totally.
That's what I always, sometimes like even Timmy doesn't understand it. Like when I'm like, I want to get I'm working with a stylist for this or someone to help me pack or someone to help me like put the looks together. Even if I make all the selects, someone pull looks together. He's like, but you can do that. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's a totally different art. I wish that I had like a full-time stylist. Like I literally wish that I didn't have to think about what I was wearing ever, and which is why I want you to come over today and put together looks. But I also sometimes when I look at celebs that are so styled, like I think about Hailey Bieber, who's like or Kendall Jenner who are so known for their fashion, but I'm like, it's really their stylists that are, you know what I mean? So then I'm like, maybe I don't want a stylist because I want people to think of me as the one that's like creating my looks, you know?
Totally. But I think like when we make looks together, it's like we're using your clothes from your wardrobe. So it's like you picked them out. I'm just like helping you sort of put them together in a different way. But it's like, it's very you.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And you're making looks based on your client and like what their personal stylist. So you start then going out on your own and doing personal styling. And like, is it mostly at first, would you say when you're working with like regular people, was it mostly like shopping for them, or was it mostly working within their closets, or what were you doing like before basically doing everything on social and like building out this whole huge business?
So first I started working with like a few women like my age who just needed like help editing their closet and like, what do I keep? What do I get rid of? And then like, what do I do with the things that we're keeping?
Yeah.
You know? So that's sort of how it started. And that was really fun because I realized like, okay, like cleaning out one's closet, like that's one thing. It's like, we know what to get rid of, we know what to keep. But then it's like, okay, how can we take that one step further and figure out like, why? Like, how can we look in our closet and like find our style as opposed to just looking in our closet and being like, I don't wear this, I do wear this. Like really kind of like digging a little bit deeper. So I started doing that with clients. And then, you know, like we would look at the things that they weren't sure how to style and we would style them. We would fill in the blanks. So I would do some shopping with them. And then I started offering virtual sessions like right before the pandemic. So that was kind of not
so it was
good timing,
right before the pandemic that you started doing that.
I was like thinking about doing it and I had like done a few practice ones. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, well, I guess this is what I'm going to do.
What you're going to do, which is amazing because it was obviously so needed. I mean, maybe not everybody was needing to get dressed like that first year.
Yeah.
But I think that people were finding more and more like obviously how virtual everything was going to go. And I think it was really smart to like add that to your business plan.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think it was also like people felt really shitty those first few months. And it actually, I think it did illuminate like how much getting dressed is sort of a big deal and how much it does affect your mental health.
True.
Like, I mean, that's maybe overstating it, but when you look good or when you feel good, like you can work better. You have better interactions. Like I do think it's kind of a ripple effect. So in those first few months, it was interesting because I kind of thought, okay, people will just want to like clean out their closets and use this time. But people really were like, can you help me make looks to like literally sit to work from home?
I get
like,
it.
What do I get it? What do
like
I wear?
Looks from here up, like just
what do
make it do a shirt and an earring situation or something.
A lot of jewelry suggestions then. But yeah, it was interesting. And I think some people thought it was a little, they wouldn't be embarrassed to reach out to me, but they're like, I know this is like really indulgent, but like, you know, I know I'm not going anywhere, but like, what should I wear? I'm like, it actually doesn't matter if you're going anywhere. Like, it should be for you. And it should be something that, like it should be kind of fun and joyful. And like putting on clothes doesn't need to be shitty and like traumatic or for something. It can just be like for yourself, for working from home, just to feel good.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So now what does the business look like?
So I'm still doing virtual sessions, like a lot. And then I do in-person sessions in LA and some in New York when I go back to New York. And I also work with brands and do stuff on social media too, which is also fun. That's not what I thought. When I was interning at Teen Vogue, I did not think that this was going to be the end place for me. Like, I did not think I would be on social media.
Like, you did not think you were going to be in front of the camera.
Absolutely not.
But you're so good at it.
Thank you. It doesn't feel like it, but thank you.
I feel the same way. I do not like, I mean, you put yourself, I put myself out there a lot, but like, you really talk to camera a lot, and have a lot to say, which takes a lot. Like, not only obviously the planning and preparation, but to go from being someone that wanted to be very behind the scenes, as a stylist usually does, to like completely putting themselves out there is a huge jump. Was that hard for you?
Very.
Yeah.
It was very. My friend who does like makeup tutorials, her name's Violette. She was like, would you be on my channel and like would you do like a little fashion thing? I was like, no, thank you though. I was like, how about I like, you know, what if like you do my makeup? She's like, no, like I want you to talk about fashion and like you know, talk to camera, like you can do it. And I'm like, no, I don't think I can.
Yeah.
And so she's like, can we just try? And so we tried. And she said that when the camera went up, I was like, hi.
You were so ready.
Yeah. And that she was like, whoa, I did not expect that. So I don't know. It's just so like not my personality.
I get it. It's something that just turns on. I never thought I never thought I was going to be on TV either. Like I was never the person that thought that I was going to be on a reality show. And even now when people meet me, they're like, or that knew me from before, they're like, I can't believe that you were on a reality show.
Did you feel like it was like did you make like a, not a different person, but was it like kind of a persona that
completely?
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
It was like me acting as myself.
Yeah.
Which is really weird, but it's like you're putting yourself on. You're like exaggerating yourself more.
Totally.
Do you plan out your content days now, or are you just kind of like when you're feeling inspiration, you'll do it?
I have sometimes I'll do content days, but a lot of times I'll have an idea. I'm like, okay, I just need to like film this right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to feel too stale. And yeah, I feel like I don't want it to feel too produced or anything. So when I have an idea, I'll usually just go to camera and start talking.
Yeah. And is the goal for you when you think about growing your business, is it like building out your clientele more? Is it getting celebrity clients? Is it having your own line one day, or like being, a creative director for a line? Like maybe it's all of these
really
things.
Good question.
Yeah.
I love working with clients. Like I love doing the virtual. I love doing in person. Like that's my favorite part. And I don't think I would be able to create content without that, because all the content I create is like, from questions that people have asked me, or like common things, or like really interesting things that clients have said. So like without the clients, like I wouldn't even have anything to say.
Right.
At all.
That's where the experience. Yeah. I get that.
I like working with clients. I like working with brands. I think that's really fun. When it's just like a one-off like TikTok or something, it doesn't feel as exciting for me. But like when I can, like really wear the clothes and like talk about like a bunch of ways to style things and like actually style it with my own clothing, like that to me is
like
really,
more holistic.
Yeah, that to me is really fun. I'd like to do more of that.
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite part about what you do?
I think meeting people, and not that like, I'm not like performing surgery, but it's like after the session, like I usually see people for an hour virtually, and it's so fun that like by like the 40-minute mark, they're like, oh my God, I have so many clothes. Like I have to have more places to go.
Yeah.
Or like I had a client yesterday and she was like, okay, like I'm going to wear this tonight. And then she's like, no, actually I'm going to wear this tonight. No, actually I'm going to wear this tonight. I'm like, okay, it's like so cool to just like, you're not buying anything, to just look in somebody's wardrobe and be able to kind of, restyle it and make them feel excited about the things that they bought. And like a lot of times clients will be like, I actually do have like really cute clothes. I thought I would have to buy all new stuff. And it's like, you don't. It's just kind of seeing another lens. Yeah, another lens and like more ideas. Because I feel like we're very quick to turn on our things in our wardrobe.
Immediately. And like the first thing we think of is just that we need something new.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get something new. It's harder to think of a new idea to style something than it is to just like get something brand new.
Completely. And you're like so sick of seeing yourself in certain things, but you don't really realize the power of how styling something different can make it seem like a whole new piece.
Yeah. And like the repetition, even just with like you were saying, like Hailey Bieber and Kendall Jenner, it's like, I feel like actually still it's like Hailey Bieber, like not that she wears the same thing all the time, but like there is sort of a formula. Like she wears a lot of blazers, she wears a lot of like baggier jeans, and I feel like that's become a thing because she's repeated it so much. And I don't think consistency or repeating things is necessarily bad. Again, like if we can figure out different ways to do it and different ways to style things.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the conversation that you've had on your social about things being trendy.
Yeah.
And how like not to steer away from the trendy things. That like just because something's trendy doesn't mean that like you're going to look like everybody else. But it's like how you style it.
Exactly.
Can you talk to me more about that? And like some examples of some things that are trending right now that people have this opinion about.
Yeah, so I'll get a lot of messages of people being like, should I get this or is it too trendy? Or like, what do you think? Is this over? And it's like,
I think that all the time.
It's like, there's a few things to consider that. Like, first of all, let's say like mesh flats, for example. Like those have been around for a bit now, but I feel like you can get them kind of anywhere. You can get them at any price point, but you don't have to wear them the same way as everybody else is wearing them. And I understand why we think we do, because like, we'll see stuff on Pinterest and social media, and it's just kind of like the same kind of woman wearing them the same kind of way. But if you sort of filter that through your own personal style and like kind of, think about like what 3 words you would use to describe your style and style the shoes in that way and in your special way, then it doesn't necessarily feel trendy. I also think that, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, well, do you want them because they are trendy? Like, is the reason that you want them is because you're seeing them everywhere? And that's also fine if that's why. But then also ask yourself, if other people aren't wearing them, will I still want to?
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes it's like, no, I wouldn't. And then it's like, well, maybe you actually like it because it's trendy. You know, it's like kind of taking those extra steps to think about why.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of like, you know,
the row flats, like I got the row mesh flats.
Yeah, you have the originals.
I have the originals, okay? I got those probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. And everybody at the time was like, what are those things? Like, are those aqua socks? Like, are those socks? Like, what are those? And I was like, I'm obsessed with them. Like, just watch you guys. And then everyone started wearing them. And then I was like, I don't want to wear mine anymore. Like, I'm kind of the opposite, where it's like, as soon as I see it everywhere, I don't really want to wear it anymore.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also know that there's like, these are on trend. And I have an online business where I'm also like, not styling in the same way, but influencing. And like, I have to be a little bit on trend, or people are going to be like, what the fuck is she wearing? Because that's what I would wear on a regular basis. So yeah.
Wait, that you also just reminded me of a good point where it's like, so those row flats you bought 4 or 5 years ago, and like maybe right now you're not going to wear them because everyone else is wearing them, but like asking yourself, okay, like in another 4 or 5 years, will these be the mesh flats that I want to pull out of my closet? And I think the answer is
the answer is yes. And actually I'm wearing them in more unexpected ways. I think like whereas most people will wear them with like a little dress or I don't know, cute, like, or, you know, boxer shorts or something like that. It's like, for me, I'll wear them with like a really baggy pant.
Love it. Yeah.
So yes, I think that like, if you're going to get those trendy pieces, at least if you can afford I think it's good to invest in like the good ones that you know that you're going to have forever.
So it's like, if you want to like participate in that mesh flat trend and like, maybe get ones that you would be excited that you have in like 5 years, or even like, this is maybe crazy, but like if you have like a daughter, it's like maybe she'll want to wear those in like 30 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, like things that like are actually... And it doesn't mean they have to be designer, but I think just being like, oh, I'm just going to like get this because like, I don't know, and maybe I'll wear it a few times, then get rid of it. Like, to me, that's sort of like the opposite of what I would advise in terms of like making a, you know, really functional
investment in something. Or even, totally. I think that kind of shopping, I wish would all go away, like for everybody's sake, you know what I mean? Like just like the fast fashion. And I don't think that there's anything, it's not like I think fast fashion is bad. Like, I buy from fast fashion too, but the things that I buy from fast fashion, I buy with the intention that I'm still going to get a lot of use out of it, or hope to, and still try to take care of it.
It's like the opposite of what people think.
Totally.
Right? Like, buy the like funky rose shoes and then buy a black blazer from Zara.
Completely.
Because you'll have both forever.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, I think that it all depends on obviously where you're coming from, like what you can afford.
Right. You don't have to buy the row ones.
Right. Exactly. And I always think investing in things that are a little bit more expensive makes the most sense anyways, because I think that you get the most use out of them. But obviously that's not always a situation for everyone. But for you, like in terms of closet clean out, like, which I know is something that I'm sure a lot of people like you probably get into before maybe starting to style someone.
Yes.
What does that process look like for you?
I have a whole process that I it's kind of a long process, but like so what I tell people to do first is pull out the things that you wear all the time and like put those on your bed, put those on a rack, because sometimes I think we know what we're wearing all the time, but when we actually like ask ourselves like, what is it that I'm, you know, when in doubt that I'm wearing, or what do I wear like 3 days a week? And we see that all together, it usually paints a different picture than what we think.
Yeah.
You know?
So weird.
Right?
Yeah.
It is really weird. Like a lot of times clients will be like, oh yeah, like I think I wear a lot of color because I have a lot of color in my wardrobe, but I pulled everything out and like, it's all black.
It's so interesting.
So it's like taking it out of the context of your closet makes a big difference. So that's step one. And then step two, I say, take out the things that you never wear and put those someplace else. And like, I know it's easy to get upset at yourself or to judge yourself and be like, I bought this and it still has tags on it, or I bought this and I never wear it. But I think it's just asking yourself, okay, like, why do I not wear this? Do I not wear it because it doesn't fit? Do I not wear it because I don't like it? Or do I not wear it because I don't know what to do with it? I don't know how to style it. And like the things that we don't wear because we don't know how to style it, I put those in another category. And then basically like the closet sort of editing is all about taking those things that you don't know what to do with and pairing them with the things that you wear all the time to create interesting looks and to bring some of those more like aspirational things that you really love but aren't like things that you're pulling all the time into your
mix.
Yeah, exactly.
How often do you clean out your closet?
I'll do like a big clean out sort of each season.
Yeah.
Usually at the end of the season, because sometimes I find that I'll have something, I'm like, oh, I think I wear this all the time. But then at the end of the summer, I'm like, I don't think I wore this once.
Right.
So I usually do a big clean out at the end of each season. And then I'll do like, it's not like a rule, but every time I get something new, I really do try to evaluate, like, is there something that I could get rid of?
Out. Timmy's always telling me that. Yeah. He's like, when you get something new, take something out. I'm like, oh my God, okay.
But it is helpful. Like, it doesn't have to be a rule and it doesn't have to be like one new thing, get rid of it. But it's just kind of like, I will like before I'll like hang it up in my closet, because I have a very small closet space, I'll really think like, okay, like is there something that either this is replacing or that I would, formally wear, but now I'll wear this one.
Right.
Or is there something that just doesn't feel as good as this?
Right.
Or like, it forces you to be like a little bit more discerning and a little bit more edited. Also when you're shopping, if you think that way, if you think like, I might have to give something up to get this, then you're kind of like, you're a little,
maybe I don't need this. Yeah, totally. And then when it comes to organizing closets, do you have any kind of tips or a system when it comes to that? Because I'm like, I do categories, and then within the categories, I do colors.
That's what I do too.
Yeah.
That's what I do too. I find that that's helpful just because, if you're looking for something, it's easy to find. But it also, again, like it shows you, okay, wow, I have like 5 black blazers.
Right.
And like when you see them all together, you're like, maybe I could edit one out, or it's just good to know I don't need another one.
Right.
Right. And I would say that my editing system is not very harsh. Like I'm not like, you need to get rid of this. If you haven't worn it in 2 years, it's got to go. Like that's not really my vibe, because if you haven't worn something in 2 years, but you want to wear it, and like also it makes you happy to see, and like you want to figure out a way to style, like keep that.
Right.
Like,
it doesn't have to be so like practical.
Yeah. I think sometimes when it's too practical, it gets people like overwhelmed, and then it's like, it's not fun. And I think at the end of the day, fashion is meant to be fun and expressive and creative. So it's like, if we put too many rules, like I know people like rules because they like to, they like a system, and for something that's so subjective, it's like, just tell me what to do.
Totally.
But like if you tell people what to do too much, then it's like,
they get stressed.
Yeah.
No, totally. And then they get handicapped and don't do anything. And that's where people are at. That's like, when they actually really need you.
Exactly. Yeah. I have clients who are like, I didn't want you to come over because I was scared you'd make me get rid of things. I'm like, I don't care. Like, you can have as many things. It does not affect me at all. Yeah. Like, I just want you to have a wardrobe that feels functional. And if you don't want to get rid of something, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want you to either.
Totally. I've never cleaned out my closet before and then afterwards been like looking for something.
100%.
I've never been like, oh my God, I shouldn't have given that away. Where is that yellow dress? Like, I've never thought about the pieces. I don't know if maybe I'm just like cavalier with stuff, but whatever I give away, it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Like I always say with clients, like again, my client yesterday, we like put a bunch of stuff to get rid of, like on a chair. I was like, I bet if I asked you, could you name 3 things that are in that pile, you probably wouldn't be able to name them.
To remember, yeah.
Because like once they're gone, they're kind of gone. And like you don't miss them the way that you think you would.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay. So just a couple inspiration outfit ideas.
Okay.
So this is like for anybody, whether you run out of time or creativity or you feel in a rut, or even if you don't feel any of those things, but you just want a little bit of help. What are some ideas for like a casual day of like momming or running around doing errands, or just like a casual day look?
Okay. I have a few ideas.
Yes.
First of all, I think for those kind of looks, it's like, what what do you feel the most comfortable in? Like, is it something that's like more comfortable on the bottom? It's like, in your ideal world, would you be wearing like sweatpants and a t-shirt? If so, like, we could think of a way to elevate that. Like, for example, like a linen pant with
like, this is what I wanted to wear. Like, if I really want to just be in a sweatsuit. Like, that's how I dress. And so I was like, how do I emulate a sweatsuit kind of outfit?
That's exactly what I would say. It's like, linen pull-on pants, even like a cute silk pull-on pant, you know, just something that's comfortable and that's easy and that you can move in and like throw on a t-shirt. And then like what you're doing, it's like, do a fun shoe and a fun earring and like a great bag and you're good. But I think just keeping the base like comfortable, easy. For me, it's jeans and a t-shirt is what I always want to be wearing. So it's like, that would be my look. And then I would add a belt and I would add some jewelry and I would add a good bag and like a fun shoe. And that would be sort of like
your thing,
my look. And I know it can seem boring when you're like, well, I always wear jeans and a t-shirt. It's like, you can do so much with that base in terms of accessories. And also, again, it's good to be consistent. Like, that's what having personal style, I think, is. Like, if somebody sees a look and they're like, oh, that's so Whitney, like, that means that you have good personal style. Like, you know, if you're, you know, always trying to kind of do something different, then there's not that same...
There's like confusion in the marketplace.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
what is
Too
her
much
style? Yeah. And when it comes to t-shirt and jeans, are there any ones that you really love right now?
I really like the t-shirts from Silver Lake, which is a denim company, but like they have a few different shapes and I've tried all of them and I really like them all. I really like, for like a good like thick neck t-shirt, like one that kind of looks like a Hanes. I love the Uniqlo U t-shirt. Ooh. It's really thick too. Okay. And like my husband likes them too. They're like, it's very like structured. Like, it's not like a soft, it's like a nice structured t-shirt. I love those.
What shape jeans are you wearing right now? I feel like jeans are all over the place the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm seeing low-rise baggy. I'm seeing like high waist boot. I'm seeing low-rise tight. I'm seeing a skinny jean coming back.
I know.
I'm seeing a bell bottom. I'm seeing also the jeans, which I'm so over, are like those barrel ones.
Yeah.
Are those over? Are we done with those?
I don't know. I think the good thing is like there's so many jeans where it's like you can definitely find one that works for you and you won't look crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so many, like you can really do anything. I learned, it took me a really long time, but I learned that I like low waist and mid-rise. That took me like until I was like 35 years old. Yeah. So like I always like something that's a little bit lower. I like a straight leg and I like something like, I think this also took me a while. When the baggy trend came in, I was like, oh, it has to be like low slung and like really baggy throughout. I realized I don't like that. I like when it's like a little bit more fitted in the leg and then goes baggy. Again, took me a long time to realize
figure that out. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just like denim shopping is really hard. And I think that a lot of times we'll put on jeans and it can be traumatic. So like we'll put on jeans, we're like, ugh, I hate these, like get them off me. But I think just taking an extra second and being like, okay, but why are these so bad?
Right.
Like, are they too high?
What do I hate about
what
them?
do I hate?
Yeah.
And then
is it like the crotch area? Is the tush weird? Is it the cut at the bottom?
Yeah.
Like, is it the length?
Yeah. It's helpful to sort of figure that out because then you can, you know, find ones that don't have that thing that you don't like. And that, I feel like that's helpful. Like, again, like a client will have a bunch of the jeans that we edited. I'm like, do you see how all of them have a frayed hem? I don't think you like that.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like
seem like that's something you like. So like, let's just kind of stop buying those. But I think it's helpful to, figure out what you like and then also try new things all the time. Like I have my jeans that I love, but I'm always trying new ones. Yeah. Just to see like, like what else is there? What works? Like, I feel like the more you try, the better you get to know yourself. And I know sometimes, again, trying on clothes is traumatic and not fun. But if you kind of look at it as like, I'm learning something, I'm just kind of researching, then I think it can become a little bit more like a little less stressful. Yeah. And like more like you're gaining something from it, even if you're not buying something.
Just using it as a learning experience.
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm like thinking about how many jeans I have in my closet right now and just like how many jeans does one actually need? Okay. What about some looks that are like work appropriate, but still like fashionable and cute?
Okay. Great question. I feel like for summer, which I feel like that's always kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think, you know, a nice trouser is always good. Like I always feel like you can't go wrong with like a trouser, a great belt, and like not a cotton t-shirt, but like either like a knit t-shirt or like a t-shirt with like kind of a longer sleeve, like something like that. I always say like if you're somebody, again, like me who likes jeans and a t-shirt, if you want to make like a professional look, like use that same silhouette and just kind of make it more professional. So like instead of the baggy jeans, we're going to go for like maybe a wide leg trouser and then we're going to go for a more fitted t-shirt. So I think you can kind of like sort of iterate on that. Also, like a maxi, like not like this, but like a straight maxi skirt, like a trouser skirt, I feel like is really nice. I don't know.
I've never heard of a trouser skirt.
You know, like I feel like you have one, like a straight skirt that almost looks like you're wearing like at the top of it.
Yes,
like
I think I got a Kate one that looks like a black jean, but it's a skirt. Yeah, it has a little slit. Yeah,
something like that, in more of like a crepe or like a wool. I guess maybe not for summer, but I think that's always cute with like a boot or a flat and a sweater.
Yeah.
There's like a trend on TikTok where people are doing like professional looks, and some of them I'm like, I don't think you could wear that to work, but I've also never worked at an office, so I don't know. But like that's, or like they'll be wearing like vests that are really low. I'm like, I don't think so.
No.
But maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Same. I'm like, I don't even know what goes in this day and age.
No.
Like I feel like if anybody wore anything inappropriate to work and someone said something that they would get in trouble. So I feel like work appropriate is not even, that's not even a thing anymore.
I
don't know.
got embarrassed once when I was assisting that somebody was like, you can't wear that.
Really?
Yeah. And I get why. Like I was wearing like really, really skinny leather pants and like a really chunky like heel, like kind of combat booty, but it was like I couldn't move in it. Like you can't move in like skin tight leather pants.
Right.
Like it was a very silly look because she's like, what do you like? You're running around this like what do you think you're doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Funny. Okay. What's our next look? A first date look, or like just a date night look but you're not trying so hard. You know what I mean? Not like overtly sexy.
I think that's where like a vest or like a little waistcoat is always really cute. Because it's like still sort of like menswear. It's still, you know, it's not like it's like a sexy going out top. Not that there's anything wrong with that. With like a pair of jeans, I think that's always great, and like some good jewelry.
If you guys are going to like a cute dinner spot, what is something like, let's just say tonight you guys were going out for dinner, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I think I might wear like a vest or almost like a knit tank top and a pair of jeans. And I'm always like, because I like simple clothing. I always like go crazy with the accessories. So maybe it's like a sparkly shoe and a fun bag and like interesting jewelry. Like I'll always like keep it pretty simple and then sort of level it up with my accessories. I also like I love shorts.
Yeah.
Like, so I think, you know, like a pair of like either like longer shorts with a belt and like a fitted t-shirt's always really cute. Like, I feel like almost like creating balance. Like let's say you're going to do a mini skirt, maybe do it with like a baggier tee tucked into the front and a belt and a flat shoe. You know, or if you're going to do like a lower vest, then maybe do it with like a baggier jean and you can do like a little heeled boot. Just sort of like kind of like adjusting the levels.
Yeah, I like that. I've listened to that. I feel like a stylist once taught me about that, where it's like, if it's cuter if you do like tighter on the bottom, it's cuter to maybe go a little bit baggier on top, and vice versa, to like switch up the dimensions a little bit. And sometimes I really like baggy on baggy. Rarely do I like tight on tight. Like if I'm wearing a tight pant, like I don't want to wear a tight tank with it. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know why. It just feels wrong to me. Okay. And what about also like just like a casual social get together situation?
So I'm like jeans.
No, but that's totally fine.
Like I think jeans are great. I think like a linen pant. Like a linen pant and a t-shirt is always really nice. And again, like you could add a belt, you could add like a fun, you know, like those fun mesh shoes with it. Yeah. I think it's like, again, keeping the base sort of like simple and also playing with texture. So like, you know, what pants and a top, like that's so generic, but it's like maybe a silk pant and a t-shirt, or like a silk pant and a knit tank top, or like a linen pant and a silk top. Like playing with the textures is always really fun. And you know, if you're somebody that likes to dress a little bit more simple, you can go like a little bit more tonal. So it's like, maybe it's like a black silk pant with a black linen top, like play with the textures, but maybe keep it in the same tone. Yeah.
I think you posted something about that the other day. I can't remember what color it was. Maybe it was like a couple different shades of white and cream that you were putting together.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting. Like, I was almost going to wear a red top with this that was more knit, not with these shoes, but it was like it would have looked cute with it. I didn't have the right bra situation, but even doing red on red, but it's like different textures is like a good way to think about an outfit if you're feeling overwhelmed by something. Like, I know, tonal, go tonal, but just change up the fabrications.
Yes, and like don't be freaked out if like the reds aren't the same. It's like they shouldn't be. If they are the same, then it looks like
then that's weird.
Boring. Like you want it to be a little bit different. That's why, like, you know, I have like cream and white.
Yes.
And, you know, different color reds, different color textures. I think the textures really give it depth. Like you don't want it to be like flat red.
So monotone.
Yeah.
When you're putting looks, when you're like organizing yourself for the week or whatever for the day, are you the type of person that has looks already planned out and you have like an album and you go to them for, or is it just like, this is what I'm feeling like today and I'm going to wear this today?
I have an album because I find that it's helpful. Again, like if I take a picture of my look and even if I don't like it, I like to look later and be like, well, what could I have done better?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I like it?
That's amazing.
But like, you know, like what was weird? It's like, oh, I actually don't like the way this t-shirt looks with that. Or like, I should have picked a tighter shirt, you know, just those kind of things. Cause then it helps you like, you know, create looks that you actually like. So I do have an album, but then I have some like just, you know, without fail, like this is what I know looks good and I can just put that on. So I think it's nice to have like a few looks that you know that you love, but then also like if you have time to play around with it, like like sometimes on a Sunday, I will like put on a podcast and like try on
like
clothes.
Pair a bunch
it's
of
like
things.
It's like can be fun.
I think it can be so much fun. I like to do that too. And I have told my sister as well, who works she works here and she's like in a more corporate environment. She has to get dressed every day and like look a certain way. And she's always like, I just never have enough time to like look cute and put together. And I was like, if you can just take an hour on a Sunday and just like put some things together, put 5 looks together, maybe a couple nighttime ones, that could change like the whole way that you like operate the entire 100%. Week. Like you will feel so much better about yourself, like so much more confident. Like you have such cute stuff, you're not wearing it. And I think that a lot of the people then they'll get to that hour and then they won't know where to start, which is why they then call you. Yeah. But I do feel like giving yourself time in advance, if you are on the busier side, is such a helpful thing to make albums of.
100%. Because in the morning you're rushed. So it's like if something doesn't work, you don't have that time to say why. You're just like, get this off me, bye.
Totally.
You know, so like if you're like, okay, like I actually don't like this t-shirt with this skirt. Like, well, let me try this skirt.
Right.
Or let me try this t-shirt. Like if you give yourself, like you're saying, the time, you can actually like be a lot more creative because you're not rushed.
Totally.
And it's like the stakes are so much lower. If you don't like it, you take it off. It's not like you have to like rush out the door.
Yeah. And even for inspiration for that, like I don't know about you or where you find a lot of inspiration, but like I just have a saved folder of outfit inspo.
Yeah.
Anything I see, I just put it in there so that when I have these style sessions, I can look to that and be like, oh, this was really cute. Like a white pant with a black belt and a white t-shirt. Like, what do I have that I can make like that?
100%.
And I feel like sometimes like, I shouldn't just copy that. But it's like we all have to find inspiration from places 100%. Sometimes.
And it's like, it would be copying if you like bought the same exact pant, same exact belt, but it's like if you're using what you already have, it's like, you're just using that as like something to just start. I think that's the smartest, like if you're not sure where to start, that's the smartest thing to do. Like pick a look that you've worn that you like or that you've seen somebody else wear and just like challenge yourself to remake it.
Totally. When you think about your trends and like the little, like your surfer nephew or desert aunt, like all those things that you coined,
I'm right now.
Completely. Where does that come from? Like, where are you finding a lot of your inspiration and like where? I don't know. You just have you have such a good way of describing trends and like finding them, but in unexpected ways.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Like all your mood boards that you put together, they're like so surfer nephew and then they're like so desert aunt, but you don't exactly know why.
Right.
Are you just so good at identifying like, how does that all start?
Okay. Well, I think that the desert aunt really started because I was like I will, like you, create folders of things that I'm inspired by. And I was looking at like everything was like caftans and like chunky jewelry and like very boho, but like kind of the rowish where it's like boho, but kind of, you know, a little
polished.
Yeah, like polished and like a little Southwestern almost in a way. So I was just seeing, I was like, oh, this is very much like, this is something. Like everything that I'm picking right now, like there, it feels like there's something happening. And so I'll kind of look at it and I sort of made up that like desert ant idea.
Yeah.
But I guess it just comes from like gathering a ton of inspiration.
Yeah.
And then sort of categorizing it.
And what would you say is like most of the time what people, at least for right now, and I'm sure it can vary because everyone's so different, but what would you say are some of the things that stick out in your head that are like what people really need from you?
It's a little less in the summer, but I think a huge, you know, a hard thing for people, and I get it because it's hard for me too, is like what shoe to pair with a pant.
Yeah.
Like shoes are really hard for people, and that's why I kind of came up with like the wrong shoe sort of idea where it's like, your shoe, you want your shoe to create contrast. So I think a lot of times, you know, now that baggier jeans are in, a lot of people were like, I'm lost. I'm like, used to skinny jeans. Like, what the hell shoe? Because if I do anything that's too round, makes my, you know, leg look short. Like, what do I do? And because it's baggy, like, do I have to do a sneaker? Do I have to like match the energy of the baggy jean? And I think, you know, it's kind of, I mean, it's all about contrast. So for me, it's like with a baggy jean, you want something a little bit pointed. You want like a longer toe box. You want something like a little bit more like sleek.
Yes.
Because the jean is sort of bringing like the kind of slouchy casual. And I think sort of that's something that I have seen as a trend for people. Like,
interesting.
And it's now like, I think we're getting the hang of it. But like there was about 9 months where it's like every single person's like, I don't know what to do because I can't wear skinny jeans.
Right.
Like I really don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then like, like what
do I do? Yeah, that makes so much sense.
And then also like just feeling a little overwhelmed of like, how do I start? So for example, like people will be like, I don't have any jewelry. And I like, where do I start? Like what's something that you would suggest for like building my jewelry collection or that kind of thing?
And what would you say, like speaking about essentials or basics, like what do you think are some things that everybody should have in their wardrobe right now? Thinking about as we're leaving summer, going into fall, like what are some of the big things that you've thought about that like you want in your wardrobe or that you're telling people to like invest in?
Well, obviously jeans. I've said jeans like 1,000 times. I can't get over jeans. Honestly, again, shoes. I feel like shoes and accessories, like belts can really, like, I feel like you use belts really well. But like
I'm trying to. It's been a new thing since I've been working with you that that it can really like polish an outfit.
Yeah, it's like so easy and it feels like it wouldn't do that much because it seems too easy. But it changes the look. So I feel like, you know, a nice belt is always good.
Would you say silver or gold hardware? Because this is, I have both, but I'm like, I know it's all dependent on the tones and what you're wearing with, but are you noticing that you're going more towards gold or silver these days?
I like both, but I feel like people like, as in terms of like what's trending, at least for like my clients, they're going more towards silver. Where before, like it was 100% gold. I wouldn't even suggest silver. Yeah. I wouldn't even say the word silver, but it was like for sure gold. Now I'm like, silver seems more casual maybe. But you also brought up a good point where it's like, I don't think it necessarily matters to match like gold earrings with gold belt, but I do think it's like the tones of the look, like you said, where it's like, if it's a more cool tone look, I do kind of like a silver belt with it. Not that it has to be matchy, but it's just like, it feels again more tonal maybe. And then if it's a warmer tone look, I like gold.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
It's like just so fun to talk about this because these are all things that I think about in my head, but then to like actually make sense of them, you're like, I don't really know why the gold makes so much more sense than the silver, but it just does.
Yeah,
you know?
It does. And I feel like also like, you know, something that's important which like you're touching on. It's like also trusting your instincts of being like, I know that this looks good. Like this is what I'm going to wear. Like really trusting yourself. Because again, fashion's subjective. Like there's no right or wrong. So it's like, if this feels right to you, then it's right.
I always have said that to people. Because like I did a little bit where I was helping virtually style people during COVID. And I'm not doing it as much anymore just because my bandwidth. But I was noticing so many people, like they think that they want rules, but then as soon as you tell them that there are no rules and it's really just about what makes them feel confident, I feel like a huge weight gets lifted off their shoulders.
Yeah.
Because there really should not be rules in fashion. No. Like I'm like, well, I can tell if something's cute or not, but I'm never going to be like, that is just wrong. You know what I mean?
And it's like, it's your eye and your taste that you've developed. So it's like, there's not necessarily, I don't think, such thing as like bad taste or good taste. It's just your taste. So it's like, if you're confident and you know what you like, then you can look at something and be like, that's cute or that's not.
Totally.
And then it just becomes so much easier because it's not like you're trying to like figure out like what's right or what's good. It's like very more intuitive. Just like, do I like that? Yes or no?
Totally.
And that,
when you think about a boot for fall, what's like the shape of boots that we're into right now?
I'm thinking something with like, it doesn't have to be pointy, but something with like a longer toe box. Because again, if jeans are like a little straighter or a little baggier, even a little bit longer, I think having something that's gonna not like elongating is the most important thing, but just kind of like continue like a nice long line is always nice. And again, if you're wearing baggy jeans, to have something to kind of contrast that is always good. Because I know it's hard. It's hard sometimes to do like a super baggy jean with a sneaker. Like it can feel like, you know,
too sporty,
or like too literal almost. Where it's like, you want something like a little longer,
like a soft rectangle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
a soft rectangle.
Let's coin that. And what about like, obviously classic blazers always in. Like I'm a total blazer girl. I feel like a t-shirt and jeans and a blazer is always a good go-to. But if I want to get creative, what's like a cute different jacket silhouette that we could be looking into? Okay,
well recently, like I'm also a blazer girl. Yeah. Recently I've realized I've been like screenshotting things with like blazers that are a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. Which like I'm like, okay, still a blazer, but like kind of a fun exaggerated shape. So like something that's maybe like even a little bit more fitted and longer, I think looks really nice. Or again, something maybe a little bit more boxy and short. I also feel, you know, something that people have been asking for a lot is like a new leather jacket. So like not necessarily a moto jacket, something that's maybe like a little cropped and more minimal, or something that's like bombery. I always feel like that's kind of a good silhouette.
Yeah.
Depending on your style.
Yeah. For leather jackets, I never want to get rid of any of them because I always feel like
they get better.
They're so cyclical. Yeah. They get better. Like the moto jacket is going to come back 100%. Into style.
Yeah. Don't get rid of those.
Yeah. And then what about just like pieces in general, like staple pieces that you feel like we should have? Like jeans, yes. T-shirts, yes. Blazer. Are there any other key pieces that you feel like are important to kind of round out a wardrobe?
I think it's always nice to have a pant that's not a jean, that feels like a linen pant or a silk pant, or like something that's pull on and comfortable that you're like, when in doubt, I know I can like put this on with a sweater or put this on with a t-shirt and it's going to feel like a little bit elevated. I think that's always something that feels helpful, but not necessarily the first thing that you would think of. I also think like going back to the leather jacket thing, because now my mind's going like, I feel like if you're somebody who normally dresses like a little bit more baggy and sporty, I wouldn't necessarily go for a bomber jacket, because that almost feels like that would make the look feel too literal. Again, I feel like it's all about contrast. So if you're somebody that really likes a baggy jean normally, I would maybe go for something that's like a little bit more minimal and cropped, because that will add contrast, like the baggier, sportier look.
Totally.
Or if you're somebody like me, I like things a little bit more like tailored and polished. So like I love a big leather bomber jacket, because to me then it's like adding that contrast.
Yes.
So I guess maybe like that's not even close to what you asked, but
no,
but I was just thinking about that of like, you know, sometimes giving yourself a little bit of a wild card or a little bit of something that feels like it's not necessarily your first, like the first choice. Your first instinct.
No, that's such a good point, because it's giving me inspiration for a look. Like normally I would go for like a baggy jean, and then I would put like a a bigger bomber on top, but a cuter idea is more of like a more fitted like blazer situation, even if it's like a leather fitted blazer with the baggy jean and then like the pointy shoe or whatever. Yeah,
that sounds really cute. And it's like the bomber with the baggy jean also works, but it's like then this gives like a whole other
look to it. Yeah, that sounds just out of curiosity, like if you were gonna put a layer on over your look right now, what would you do? Because I think layers over baggy looks are difficult.
It is.
Yeah,
I think I would do maybe like I have like a brown leather jacket that's like kind of cropped that I like. So like it's giving a little bit of that edge, but not, it doesn't have a lot of hardware. It's not like super edgy, and it's like hitting at like the right at the top of the skirt.
So it still gives you shape. Like it shows your weight where your waist hits. It's not like covering this part of your body. Yeah. Okay. I feel like you love a denim shirt.
I love a denim shirt.
And I've been seeing them they're, I wouldn't say on trend or trendy right now, but I definitely like for some of the stylish people that I follow wear them. And you put some with my looks too. And like, I like them too, but why do I feel not as like, I'd almost rather have like a white crisp button down as a layer.
Yeah.
Then I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm scarred by denim jackets, like a denim top. I don't know what it is.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. And maybe denim shirt is also my answer to that other question that I didn't answer of what should people have a denim shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, because I love a denim jacket.
Yes.
And like, I know that like, you know, as a millennial, it was like,
we were wearing our Earl jean denim jacket.
Like, and it was like tight and kind of stretchy. And it's like, I like that idea. But now I'm like, okay, a denim shirt is like my kind of new version of that. So it just makes it easy to like throw on that layer. But I feel like for you, so I like a denim shirt because I feel like sometimes my looks can feel like not stuffy, but like I need to like make it more casual. So I like the texture of adding denim because I'm like, okay, now it doesn't feel like I'm too like not fancy, but like too dressed.
I could see that over that. I would like that would make sense. I wouldn't put a white button down with that. I wouldn't put a black button down with that.
But your look, if we put a denim shirt, it's like it's almost all casual, and it's like your look isn't necessarily missing the casual part. Maybe it's missing like that more polished,
like a white crisp button down. Totally.
So I think it's just using the layer as like what are we missing? So instead of making like kind of similar to with the leather jacket, instead of using the layer that feels the most obvious of like what's going to go with this whole look, because like, you know, I guess you technically could think that like a white crisp shirt would work because it like matches this and it's white. But it's like we actually want the contrast of like what am I missing in this look? For me, I feel like I'm missing a little bit of that casual.
That makes sense.
So I would do like a flannel or like a denim shirt, just something that's going to make it feel like that's going to break it up.
Add a touch of something. Yeah. We're still into button down though, collared shirts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like forever. That's always a staple for me too. It's just like, I think even sexy for date night, sometimes I'll do like a white crisp one with like a black bra underneath and cute jewelry and stuff with a belt and a tight jean or something. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also feel like I have a bigger chest. So like I like when like I like a denim shirt because it's like a little bit softer, but I feel like a crisp shirt's so good for you to like add structure.
Totally.
For me, I'm like, I don't need to add any more boxiness here. Like, which
I used to. It's weird. After Sunny, my boobs got a lot smaller, but dressing for big boobs can be difficult.
It's difficult.
Yeah, it can be difficult because like the look always on models it's
no boobs.
Yeah. And then you're like, that's how it should look because it's on the runway, but you're like, that's not how anybody looks.
No. And like things can look sexier maybe than you intend them to look sometimes. So I feel like I'm always like, not that I don't like having big boobs, like it's fine.
I was while we're on the topic.
Exactly. But it's more like, I'm always trying to figure out ways to like not hide them, but just to kind of like again, give like that tension and contrast so it doesn't go like too sexy or too, you just kind of I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't have them, I guess.
I know. I'm like, let's talk about that. Do you like them?
No.
Like, I never liked mine. I was actually relieved, and I hate saying that, but I was actually relieved when they got smaller, and now that I can wear things without bras. But I hate that this is the thought that we have.
I know. I wish I liked them. Like, I want to embrace them. And sometimes I will wear something tight, and I'm like, yeah. But then I'm like,
but then it doesn't feel you. Then you feel weird. I was never a tight tank top girl, ever. And I still can't get into, if I wear a tank top, like, just because I feel like I'm scarred from it, it has to be like crew up here or like a mock turtle or something. Cause I've never liked showing my chest.
It's hard. And like white t-shirts are harder for us too.
Yeah.
Maybe if I breastfeed at some point,
it'll
go away. That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? They just get more pancakey. I don't. They get bigger when they're filled with milk, and then they start deflating. Oh, any specific brands or like shopping sites that you particularly are loving right now?
I like when I'm going for like basics or just kind of like to see what I see. I love COS.
Yeah.
I like COS. Massimo Dutti. Do you know that brand? I feel like I always say it wrong. Like Dutti.
Do they sell in the States?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
amazing.
They ship to the US and it's pretty quick. And like I've gotten a few things from there where I'm like, let's just see. But like the quality's been good.
Okay, amazing.
Because it's I think owned by Zara or something, but it's like a little bit more expensive and I wanted to see like how much better it is, and it is.
Yeah, okay.
It does feel better.
I saw it when I was in Spain for the first time, like, I don't know, 6 years back, and I was like, this is amazing, but I didn't know that we could get it here. But it's like, it's 2024, Whitney, get it together.
Whitney. But I like looking at those two places when I'm just kind of seeing, like, I don't let myself look at Zara or Mango because I get tricked. Even me, who it's like I do this for, even me. I do it for a living, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be so great, and it's gonna be like, it's gonna change my life, and then I get it, and I'm like, I hate this. It's not exactly what I want. Like, I should just get the thing that I want or look harder.
Yeah. I know. I feel like you really need to study the images and realize that you're a consumer and like that they're trying to sell you on something and that the way that they style it, like they could be clipping it. They could be, there's all sorts of things that are happening behind the scenes that you really got to do your due diligence. Yeah.
I worked for a company and I did e-commerce styling. Like when I first kind of went out on my own, I did some stuff and it's like we tailored the pieces to the model. So it's like,
it's so unfair.
You can't trust it.
No.
You just can't trust it.
No. Goes back to having to try things on, needing to try things on. Okay, amazing. You're the best. This was so fun.
I could really fun.
Talk fashion with you all day.
We should.
I know. We really should. We can. So fun. Okay, so for anybody that wants to work with you or follow you, where can they find you?
My Instagram is Allison Bornstein 6, and same with my TikTok and YouTube and everything. I don't really post YouTube. I just watch the only thing I do on YouTube is watch your videos. That's the only thing I do on YouTube.
I actually kind of feel like was our first interaction because someone said that we looked alike. Yeah. I think that's how I originally found you.
That I'm unfortunately for you, but fortunately for me.
Oh my God, you're gorgeous.
I think it's also maybe like the teen. I don't know, but like I went to dinner with a friend and she brought her friend who I didn't know, and after dinner she's like, has anybody ever told you that you look like I'm like Whitney Port? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, they have told me that. But yeah, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and then you can book a virtual styling session with me on my website, which is just AllisonBornstein.com. And I have a book that you can buy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like need to actually really read this book.
It's
when
did
you come out with your book?
So it's like almost a year old. So September last year.
Okay.
It's like a very easy read. I think it's really fun.
But Wear It Well, right?
Yeah, it's called Wear It Well. You can get it anywhere you get books, Amazon, but also you can get it on my website.
And it's like a bunch of styling tips and tricks.
It's all about styling. It's about styling, and like there's very practical tips, but it's all, it's about like how to edit your closet, how to find your style, like the 3-word method, all of these things. But it's also about kind of how to like reframe getting dressed as a more of like a joyful act. And I know it maybe sounds really cheesy, but there's some like very small things that you can do to like totally shift the perspective on like what it means to get dressed and like why personal style is actually important.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yay.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.